Most overdrive, distortion, and fuzz pedals are designed to be powered at 9 volts, and usually that's exactly what I do. But recently I've been experimenting with voltages less than the standard 9 volts. And the results have been, honestly, they've been kind of mixed. But in a few cases I've noticed something, maybe something that would be interesting to you. So in this video I'm going to talk about 3 categories of pedals that exhibited some sort of change when I powered them at less than 9 volts. In the coming examples, I'm going to be using this MXR ISO brick to power my pedal in 2 different ways. The first is with this 9 volt port over here on, it'll actually be on the left side in the video. And then I'm going to switch to this variable voltage port that'll be on the right hand side. It allows you to set the output voltage from 6 volts all the way to 15. I'm going to keep it at 6 volts for every example that you see in this video. And when I talk about underpowering a pedal, I mean running it at 6 volts through this variable port. That seemed a lot easier than like finding a not quite dead but almost dead battery and using it again and again. For my testing, there are a lot of drive pedals that you can run at 6 volts without any perceivable difference in sound. The exceptions seem to me to fall into 3 categories. First, vintage fuzz pedals. I have a few pedals that are based around fuzz circuits developed in the mid to late 1960s. Things in the lineage of the tone bender or the fuzz face, similar pedals. And those seem to exhibit a kind of similar response to 6 volts. Note that though the Big Muff was developed in the late 60s, that's sort of a different breed altogether, and it did not exhibit these same characteristics. At 6 volts, these kinds of pedals exhibited 3 changes. The first was a drop in overall output volume. The second was sort of a softer pick attack. You know, you can sometimes hear a brightness when you actually strike the strings. That was rolled off a little bit at 6 volts. And the third was a thicker and more compressed fuzz sound. These changes made these vintage style fuzzes sound smoother overall, and in one case even start to gate a little bit. It's a sound that reminds me of great recordings from the late 60s and early 70s, but more like in the Hendrix realm of things rather than the Led Zeppelin realm. Second, amp-like pedals. This is a category that encompasses 2 kinds of pedals. First, genuine preamps, devices that are designed to work just like the preamp section of an amplifier would, and sometimes to be used in the place of the preamp that's in your amplifier. Second, amp-in-a-box pedals. These are really dirt pedals that you would run in front of your amp, but they're designed around or to simulate an amp-style circuit. These pedals reacted to 6 volts in a way that was similar to the vintage fuzzes, only this time I also noticed lower headroom. This may have been the case with the fuzzes as well, but I honestly don't look for headroom when I'm using all-out blasting fuzz. But with these pedals that are trying to kind of recreate the dynamics of an amplifier, headroom can be pretty important, and I did notice a slight reduction in headroom, which meant that as you turn the knobs up, you're going to hit heavier gain faster. The last category is what I'm going to call bright pedals. And this category is sort of subjective and definitely just based on the observations that I made in the room based on the gear that I have. But I've got a few drives that can be really bright when I use my Telecaster, which is my main electric. And in a few cases, switching to 6 volts darkened the sound slightly. There may have been other effects like those that I've noted before, but what I really noticed was the change in EQ. This seems to me the most useful when you have an effect that you like on a darker instrument. Like I've got a semi-hollow guitar with humbuckers and that I keep tuned to C-sharp standard. Pedals that sound great on that can be a little bit shrill when I switch to my E standard tuned Telecaster. Reducing the voltage to these pedals may be a quick and easy way to take off some of that aggressive high end. If I knew more about circuits and electronics, I might be able to explain these patterns, but for now, they're just patterns. But they still might be useful to you. In the comments, let me know whether you heard them too. Let me know if you have experience underpowering or even overpowering your pedals and what you thought about that. And if you're a circuit master, I'd love to know why these changes were happening, if they were happening at all. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it and subscribe to my channel if you want more videos about guitar and recording and songwriting and music in general. And if you liked what you heard in the sound samples, the demonstrations in this video, those are all licks from my original music, and you can find some of that on Spotify or other streaming platforms. If you want to start somewhere, I suggest you start with my song Gypsy Angel. I actually played the intro of it in one of those examples, but in the recorded version, it's a triple-tracked Telecaster, each track using a different fuzz pedal, and they're all panned to different places, and it sounds pretty sick, I think, at least. So go check it out and let me know what you think. As always, thank you so much for your time. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you around.